I had to drive a gas-powered car for a little less than a week, and I could not be more happy to be back in my Tesla Model 3. Hello, all you YouTubers out there, all you Tesla Model 3 fans and Tesla fans in general, and maybe even some of you Tesla shorts, maybe just watching this to see what I have to say. I recently went on vacation to visit my family for a late Thanksgiving holiday. And we had to fly into Central Texas and we rented a car. Now, full disclosure, I want to say this because it's important to mention what kind of car I got. It wasn't a very good one. It was a Chevy Malibu 4-cylinder. So when you compare at least performance, it's not even close. It's not even fair to compare the Chevy Malibu to that of the Tesla Model 3. But what I wanted to share were some of the habits that I've noticed I've developed while owning this electric car, the Tesla Model 3. After signing all of the paperwork at the car rental place, the first thing they handed me was the key fob. And I had to remind myself what it was used for. All right, I know what a key fob is used for, but the point I'm trying to make is that I'm one of those people who has fully embraced the fact that the Tesla Model 3 doesn't come with a key fob. I love it. I love the fact that we use our phones as our keys. Now, is it perfect technology? No, but it works well enough that I love it and have fully embraced it. Now, that all being said, you can still go out to the Tesla website and order a key fob for your Model 3. However, they're all back ordered at this point. And also be prepared to shell out $150 per key fob. All kidding aside, it's not a big deal that you walk out to the car, double click the unlock button, and everybody's good to go and gets into the car. But it kind of reminded me of just how much I really do like the fact that our phones are our keys for the Tesla Model 3. I mean, for example, when my wife and I go on trips, we're in the hotel room and she needs to go to the car to get something. All she does is she always has her phone on her, so she goes out to the car and gets what she needs and we're done, right? But what we notice on this trip is we're in the room and she needs to go out to the car to get something, so she takes the key fob with her, gets whatever she needs and comes back. And then when we actually have to go somewhere, we forget who has the key fob, and then after communicating back and forth, she realizes she has it, goes into her purse, unlocks the door, and we're good to go. Again, not a big deal, but again, just that nice reminder of one of the things that I really do like about the Tesla Model 3. So this next one is actually kind of funny because, as we all know, anyone who owns a Tesla Model 3, there isn't much you have to do to get the car going, right? You walk up to the car, it automatically unlocks, you get into the car, and you're good to go. You don't have to push power, you don't have to turn it off, all that stuff. So obviously I had to remind myself to turn the car on, right? So I did that, and that was fine. Not a big deal, right? There's always just that button and the car turns on. But here's the funny part, and it happened more than once. We had all gone to a restaurant and we sat at a window that looked out to the car. So my son made this observation and he said, "Dad, why are the lights still on in the car?" And I said, "I don't know. I'll have to go out and check." So I went out to the car and checked. Before I got in the car, I realized I left the car running. I could hear the engine going first off, and I could see the exhaust coming out of the pipe. So the car was running. I just walked out of the car. I mean, again, that's just kind of the habit you get with the Tesla Model 3. And again, that wasn't the only time it happened. It happened like 3 or 4 times during the trip, including when I was dropping the car off. You kind of go in a line, kind of one car after another, and I just got out. I didn't turn the car off. So it's kind of one of those things where if you're driving a gas-powered car, or really any other car for that matter, you got to remind yourself, if you're used to driving a Tesla Model 3, to turn the car off. That's an important thing to do. One of the unique features of the Tesla Model 3 is putting the car in drive, reverse, and park. And for those of you who own one, you know what I'm talking about. It's to the right of the steering wheel, and you push up for reverse, down for drive, and there's that button at the end of it that you push in to park. Well, with a gas-powered car, it's in the center of the vehicle where you've got to put in drive or reverse or park. And that wasn't really a big deal, but what I did notice is that I have this habit. When I start pulling into a parking spot, I instinctually and very quickly, automatically, just take my hand and then put it to the right of the steering wheel to go push it and put it in park. But again, I quickly discovered that no, it's not there, and I had to go to the center of the car and put it in park. Again, not a big deal, but I noticed that I have developed a habit of instinctually just going right for the right of the steering wheel and then pushing in for park. One of the things that I noticed pretty quickly when I was driving the gas-powered car is that I no longer had regenerative braking, right? So I would take my foot off the gas, and I can say gas in this situation, but I would take my foot off the gas and I'd have to go directly to the brake, right? Because it wouldn't slow down fast enough for me. So the brake is something you'd have to use to get me to this desired speed, right? So with the electric car, and of course in this case a Tesla Model 3, it's got great regenerative braking. So when I take my foot off the accelerator, it fairly aggressively slows the car down for me, and I don't even need to go near the brake. And on top of that, it's also putting power back into the battery. So a great feature that electric cars have that gas cars just don't. One of the things that I promised I wouldn't do in this video is compare the performance of a 4-cylinder Chevy Malibu to that of a long-range rear-wheel drive Tesla Model 3. All right, I don't want to do that, and I'm not going to. But I think that this is something I wanted to mention that I noticed pretty quickly off the bat as well, and that is the acceleration. Right? The acceleration of this car is not going to compare to a 4-cylinder gas car, whether it's a Chevy Malibu or any other 4-cylinder car, right? And it's not until you start getting into the higher end gas-powered cars that you're going to be able to have some form of comparison. So again, I don't want to really, put down the Chevy Malibu or say anything bad about it or anything of that nature. What I noticed driving on the highway is that I could not drive nearly as aggressively as I do with the Tesla Model 3. I mean, we all know you barely step on that pedal, even going 60, 70 miles an hour, and you're going to quickly speed that car up to maybe pass somebody else very quickly, and it's not a problem. But what I noticed with the gas-powered car, the Chevy Malibu 4-cylinder, again, that I was driving, you really had to step on it. You'd have that delayed reaction, and it would take a while for you to get to the speed that you needed to pass the car. So again, not really wanting to compare the overall performance of the Chevy Malibu to that of the Tesla Model 3. But again, that's something that you really begin to enjoy and really begin to appreciate and learn to appreciate when you've got a Tesla Model 3, is that just that overall immediate response once you step on the pedal. Now, I mentioned earlier in this video that the Tesla Model 3 has a lot of unique features, but people are also unique in themselves as well and will adapt differently to the different features of this car. So I'd be curious to know what kind of habits you may have developed after owning the Tesla Model 3 for a while, and if you notice some of those differences after getting behind the wheel of a gas-powered car. Again, the Tesla Model 3 is a phenomenal car, a lot of great features, and we all develop our own special habits with the car. By the way, one last thing I wanted to mention is I realized today is November 30th. And as you may or may not know, Elon Musk made an announcement a little while back mentioning that if you order your Tesla Model 3 before the end of November, you will get your Tesla Model 3 in your garage before the end of the year, which means you'd be able to take advantage of the full federal tax credit. So something to think about if you're still on the fence as to whether or not you want to get the Tesla Model 3. And if you do indeed want to order a Tesla Model 3, be sure to use my referral code, because if you do, you'll also get 6 months of free supercharging. So I'll put that link below this video. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, be sure to like it and maybe even subscribe to my channel so you will get alerts to my future updates. So once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day and stay safe.